Giggles Live Radio Network.
You're listening to Portin' Stuff on the Giggles Live Radio Network. All right, coming to you live from the beautiful town of Port Hueneme, Portin' Stuff, back on the air. What's going on with me as always? I'm Big Tom McLean, by the way. With me as always, Stephen Gama. How are you doing, sir?
I'm pretty happy to be sitting in the park.
Yeah,
to do our podcast. It's great.
It's our second park of the day. We watched watched my baby girl record 2 tackles in the official bowl game
Out there in Santa Paula, right, Tommy?
Yeah.
Where's Tommy at? Tommy's in?
Right here.
Yeah, Tommy stayed home and saved his energy for this moment right here, right now.
Yeah, we're picking up kind of where we left off. Where are we going today?
Yes, sir. We're picking up where we left off. Well, as you know, we're in the what most people view as the holiday season. We're just getting into December. But as we know, there was something that happened in early December back in 1942 that was changed the world. Changed the world forever. And
December 7th, Pearl Harbor.
That's right, December 7th, which is my half birthday, believe it or not. But not that that's relevant in any way for this conversation. But we lost a lot of American soldiers that day, a lot of American military servicemen and women, and it's we found it important because we always try to cover at least one ship. We thought that the USS Arizona was one that we definitely should, and it's something that we all kind of have a little bit of a connection to.
Yeah, we do. My great uncle, Arthur J Madrid, was in the engine room, and he perished on that day, December 7th, 1941 or 2.
Yeah, maybe it was 41.
I think it's 41.
Yeah, you're right.
41. And I understand that Tommy now has done some research, and we're going to talk a little bit about the mighty USS Arizona.
Yep. I remember in the CB Museum, didn't we see a piece of the USS Arizona over there, Dad?
Yeah, that's right. The CB Museum has a pretty good-sized chunk over there of the USS Arizona. It's kind of cool.
Super cool. And I went to Cal Lutheran, and we went to Japan to do what's called interim, and we did some studies with the Japanese students and families, and I went to Hiroshima with Toshiyuki Higashi, and then Toshiyuki came with me, and we later on we met up at Pearl Harbor.
Oh yeah.
So we visited both the extremes of the Japanese-American War, and it was really touching. Like Hiroshima was really crazy, but the USS Arizona was really humbling, and there's such great stuff going on there right now. For example, there's very few surviving shipmates from the USS Arizona. When they pass away, they take their ashes, and a Navy diver delivers their ashes down with my uncle, my great uncle. Yeah.
Yeah, so the crew can all be back together again.
Yeah.
That's such a special thing, and that when I was stationed at Hickam, which is connected to Pearl Harbor, and so I visited the Arizona a couple times as a serviceman. I think I've talked to you before that, maybe even on the podcast, but how impactful that was, because the way I remember it, it listed their names and their squadrons, basically what jobs they did, and as somebody who was a young adult that was in the 15th Maintenance Squadron, I can see people from the Maintenance Squadron that passed away, and I could see people from, the Medical Squadron, and I had friends from the Medical Squadron. I had friends that were part of the, civil engineering and whatever else, the processing and all that kind of stuff, and I just saw it all, and I was like, this is all the people around. Like, it's like an entire community that just got completely shocked like that, and the impact was just kind of unbelievable.
Yeah, and one of the neat things, and I worked on Hickam as well.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I worked for a company called Geronimo Service Company, and I was doing a risk management program
Wow.
right out of college. And our office was on the flight lane right there at Hickam.
Uh-huh.
And it's kind of crazy that the buildings, they left the shrapnel scars on all the buildings. And so when you drive around Hickam, you can still see the evidence today of Pearl Harbor, December 7th.
Yeah, the hangar that I worked in, I told Tommy about
Yeah.
that. I saw those bullet holes every single morning walking in. They're all over. I mean, they're all over. They're riddled with bullets. A lot of those buildings, the headquarters, every building there that's been there for the whole time.
And then, it's so profoundly, like, I guess it's good that Japan and the United States are such allies now.
Yeah.
And, having been to Hiroshima and then Pearl Harbor with my Japanese friend and just feeling all the emotions, and it's hollow ground. And then when I was in Japan, the service base, the United States has several bases over there.
Right.
That's another interesting thing, so the United States didn't conquer Japan, they partnered with them.
Yeah.
In a truly partner way, you know what I mean? Like, since that time, and it's really interesting.
Yeah. I think I've told you that my last official duty, I can't remember exactly what it was commemorating, but it had something to do with the Pearl Harbor thing. I should really look into it. But it was a march, and it was kind of like a unity with Japan and the United States. Bob Hope was there. President Clinton at the time was there.
Nice.
His wife Hillary was with them, and it was like a really big deal. Pat Morita was the Grand Marshal of the parade. He's a big deal in Hawaii. But yeah, it's a crazy day that just completely just changed the world, and so much has happened since then. And I think you're right that allying up with Japan has worked out for the better, for sure.
Yeah, everything about the day and the end. That was the beginning. And then, of course, Hiroshima and Nakagashi.
Yeah.
What was it? Nakagashi?
Yeah, I think so.
Was the end. And, 2 atomic bombs and a big surprise attack. But what about our USS Arizona? What's special about that ship?
I'm pretty sure that was a flagship, wasn't it? Military. I know it was like a very high-ranked ship.
Yeah.
It was I think it was built. I think it was there for World War II. I mean, one.
Oh yeah. So as if
really?
It'd been around for World War One.
Yeah,
also.
one.
How old was it at the time when it went down? Do you know?
I'm not sure. Although I'm pretty sure it was. Pretty sure it was at least 30, 40 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
It went down pretty quickly too, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like it had the big fire, and it was that was a pretty gnarly one.
So what our family has always been told is that the first bomb went down the smokestack, and that.
I had heard something about.
So my uncle, being in the engine room, lights out, and that's why the ship went down very quickly, because it blew the bottom.
Bottom out.
And just kind of sank straight down. It didn't lisk over, because when you go there and you look down, you could see the outline of the ship. You could see.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, and it's still bubbling too after all these years.
Oil is still coming out, yeah. They call it what do they say? They say the oil that bubbles up is the tears of the fallen.
Oh, yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. Man, there was quite a few ships that we lost that day too, but that was the one that it's there that has the. You've got to go to the memorial if you haven't been there. You've got to visit it.
Yeah, it's really cool, super cool.
Yeah, I've seen. I looked on Google Earth and saw it. It's crazy. You can actually see the shadow of the wreck, the outline, and one of the smokestacks is still peering out of the water.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I heard that the ship's getting close to collapsing in the water, the wreck.
It's funny because we hear that about the Titanic too, and I think some people believe that that's true, and some people don't think it's going to collapse.
But it's been like 80 years underwater.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I believe that it's still got at least 40 more years. But after that, then they should, because also the oil leaking out, that might cause more pressure, because
More problems.
like the as the oil leaks out, I mean,
It's not good.
yeah,
We know that. Yeah.
No, and originally the reason they didn't pull it up and they made no effort was because there's munitions, right? Weren't they afraid of there being some kind of further damage if they were to try to recover it? That's the way I
I think,
understood
and
it.
if you go back at the time, it wasn't just the USS Arizona that got sunk.
Right.
It was the Oklahoma and a couple other ships. So, maybe that played a factor in, like, okay, what do we do? Just leave them?
Yeah.
Make sure the natural deep water port is opened up?
One of the really cool things that I really wish I knew how special it was at the time was like you were saying, the Pearl Harbor survivors.
Yeah.
At least when I was stationed out there, they were still young enough that anytime you went there was at least one Pearl Harbor survivor there volunteering or even giving you like they show you a movie before you go across on the ferry, kind of let you know this is a serious thing. Let's not just take this lightly. But there was always a survivor from that. Yeah.
So I think it was 2019. Guns N' Roses was going to play in Hawaii for the first time ever, and so we bought tickets. And then we realized that we were going to be heading over there on the 5th of December.
Oh.
And Guns N' Roses was playing on the 8th, and we were coming back on the 10th, and Pipeline Masters was going on. And so we get there, and we decided to attend the memorial service they have there. And it was amazing. They had a ship that came by, and they had all the Navy band playing all the Marine songs, the Army song, the Air Force song.
Oh, cool.
And it was raining, and they did a really, really nice job. And there were like 13 or 14 survivors.
Wow.
From the USS Arizona and other survivors, but they also, they kind of group them off,
Mm-hmm.
And these guys were heroes. 'Cause they're still like, and so I was talking to one guy, I'm like, well, wait a minute, how old are you? And I did the math. I'm like, wait a minute, you weren't 18. He goes, nope, I wasn't. I was 15.
Yeah, a lot of guys lied about their age to fight.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Did you know that?
yeah, I knew. I remember hearing the story. I don't think it's related to the Arizona, but there was this one guy. Apparently, they wouldn't let him in a bar, and I don't know why, but I think they're like, I think he kept trying to get in and stuff. So he took his motorcycle and he crashed straight through the window and like ran over all the place. He was worried about getting arrested, so he went over there, lied about his age, and then got into the military.
Wasn't that a baseball player? Wasn't that one of our baseball documentaries?
Maybe.
I think so. I think it was that maybe Rube Marquardt or not Rube Marquardt. Rube. What was his name? I think I know who it was. I think it was a pitcher from the dead ball era.
It was such a more simplistic era.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, we got to go to war. Okay, I'm in. How old are you? 18. Like, you look at some of the guys flying the planes and stuff, like, geez, how old are these guys,
Ooh, look at how people are now, too. You think about it. Okay, the attack on Pearl Harbor, like that day, Bob Feller, Ted Williams, all of the greatest baseball players went straight to the recruiters and put on a different uniform. Could you imagine a war breaking out? Right? LeBron's not going to go put anything on the line for this, for his country. Most of the athletes we have wouldn't do that. It's a totally
Pat
different.
Tillman after 9/11.
Yeah.
So my family, my dad and his three brothers, they were all in the military. My dad was the youngest, so he ended up serving in the Korean War. His two oldest brothers, Jaime and Pablo, they were both pilots in World War II, and they both died.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then...
so World War II touched your family a lot.
Oh, yeah, it did. It did. And, it's kind of cool when you look at Arthur J Madrid's Purple Heart, You ever seen a Purple Heart?
I don't think I've ever taken a close look at it.
Man, it's really, really cool. Super cool.
It's one of the most important medals there is.
I remember I remember because our first episode was on the Queen Mary.
Right.
What's interesting is that my great-grandpa from my mom's side, great-grandpa Fred, he actually, when the Queen Mary was a troop ship, he actually was a troop that was carried on the Queen Mary.
Really?
Yeah.
Right. And then, of course, we have to mention La Janelle.
Oh, yeah.
Bahama Star had a role in World War II, right? What was that role?
She was a hospital ship on Normandy.
And the Bahama Star, which became the La Janelle, was the first ship to do a military sanctioned burial at sea.
Yeah, for World War II, that was the first burial at sea. That's right.
I wonder where La Janelle was when December 4th came around. I know we talked about it because you researched it, but we know that it was the Borquin at that point, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think I remember hearing that ship was somewhere in maybe Puerto Rico during the time. It's really amazing that they can keep records of this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I heard from someone that she was already getting fitted out for World War II. Probably more likely to be in Florida if she was getting fitted, but
New York for a little while too, right? Wasn't she in New York for a little while?
Yeah, the La Janelle was an East Coast ship, similar to the Queen Mary. Queen Mary was north, and La Janelle was always south. La Janelle is still south, but but like the Queen Mary, she went from the East Coast to the West Coast.
And then there's Britannica, and Queen Mary,
the Britannica.
Yeah, Britannica. Well, that one was a hospital ship of World War II that sunk with a mine, as we mentioned in one of our previous episodes.
Now, with regards to the Bahama Star, which became the La Janelle, when it was a hospital ship, did you say they fitted it? They took it in and converted it? Because then when it became back to the Bahama Star, it was like one of the first cruise line ships.
Yeah, it was kind of considered a pioneer in the cruise ship
industry, which
right.
is really bizarre.
Yeah.
It's like, and then of course, not to forget that the rescue missions.
Oh yeah, from the Bahama Star, yeah. Yeah, when she was at World War II, she was the USA Borquin, right? Isn't that what they called her? The USA Borquin?
USAT.
USAT. And we figured that it was the United States. Oh, I can't remember what it was, but there was we were trying to figure out, they changed the designation. It was the SS Borquin, and then it could have been USS Borquin, but it was USAT Borquin. It had something to do with, it was a temporary acquisition from the military or something.
Yeah, it might have stood for United States Acquisition Temporarily.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Something
I think you're right. So
the ship was acquisitioned a lot. It went through a lot of hands, right?
I think it seems like what happened was after World War I is the United States and allied countries are like, we'll loan you money to make these ships and stuff, but guess what? As soon as we need them.
And then here in Hueneme, right down the street, we have the anchor of the USS Norton Sound.
Oh, the Norton Sound.
Yeah, and the Norton Sound has a big, interesting history that hopefully we could get to at some point in the future. But, we got the anchor right over there. I helped paint it a couple of years ago, about 6-7 years ago.
Oh, yeah. And that's the one that's in front of the museum, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, hopefully we can get our La Janelle display in there in the museum for people to come visit.
No, it's really fascinating because I told Tom one day, I said, hey, you should take your kid down to the La Janelle. And he's like, well, what's the La Janelle? It's a ship that is at Silver Strand Beach. You can go look at it at low tide. Really? So they go down there and look at it, and then Tommy starts doing the research, and we start learning all this wonderful stuff about this wonderful ship, which I would have never known had I not encouraged you. You should never tell somebody what they should do. And I said to Tom, because Tommy at the time was like all into the Titanic. I go, you should go to the La Janelle.
Yep.
And you went, and you still keep going, right, Tommy?
Yep. I always do. Anytime I have a chance to go, I'll go. Especially now that school's back in.
How much time have you spent at the La Janelle since? I mean, it's been, 2 years now? Has it been that long?
Kind of
Maybe a year and a half?
Yeah, close to that. Close to 2 years.
But it's fascinating though, and every time you go down there, you see it just has a different look.
It changes life. Yeah, It's a life form, and it changes constantly. It is strange.
So we're like on a mission, and I think we're accomplishing our mission. Is we want to bring to life the stories of the Lajanau and bring these stories so people can appreciate it. And when they see a hunk of metal, either in my backyard or down at the Lajanau or whatever, we have pictures of the Bahama Star. We have pictures of Borkin. And it just brings out the nostalgia of, what do they call it? The gravitas, the provenance.
We want people to go down there and visit it too, and realize that it's such a cool, incredible site. And I don't even think, as it was pulled into this area, most people even really knew what was going on.
Yeah, it's like the World War II relics. And so we started off this broadcast talking about the USS Arizona. Well, it's a relic. Lajanau, it's a relic. Queen Mary, it's a relic. The Britannica, what was the other? Britannic. It's all connected to this, not only the bombing of Pearl Harbor, but, the ending of the war and all this crazy stuff. And now we're here, like, getting older and watching these things disappear.
It's crazy because, like I said, when I was in the Air Force, I'm 19 years old. I go over, I visit the Arizona, and there's these older guys. And what was cool was they'd have their hat, and it would say which ship that they served on. It says, and you take it for granted when you're young. You take that. He doesn't, which is, I'm so grateful that he doesn't. But you take that stuff for granted, and you're like, you don't realize, there's. There was hundreds of them around back then.
No, and that was the beauty of...
Now there's maybe a dozen or so.
If you go back on my Facebook account, I documented our day there at Pearl Harbor, December 7th, 2019. And the amount of people there it was just amazing. But the survivors, they're all up at the front, and they love to talk to people, and here we are, 4 years later, and I wonder how many less of them are around,
I know that there's a registry that keeps pretty current tabs on that kind of stuff.
Really?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of, I'm in the sports memorabilia collectors world. There are people that are in, we're in kind of in this ship collectors world a little bit. We do a lot of the older, the cards and the ephemera, more stuff. But there are a lot of people that are war collectors that are into that kind of stuff. So there's people that go out and they try to get every survivor to sign a picture of the ship and stuff like that. And so there's people that list that stuff out. And being that I'm part of the memorabilia networks, I kind of see that kind of stuff.
And didn't we come across the dinner list of one of the ships that we were looking at? Or the menu?
I have a passenger list from the Born from 19... Yeah. What year was that passenger list?
1938, I believe.
1938 list. What do they call it? The
passenger list. The manifest is what they call it now. But on that one, it was the
passenger list.
And it had a couple of like drawings of the Borenquin on it, right?
I'm gonna be alive for an interesting time because we're gonna come across all these 100th anniversaries of different things. Like I'm going to be there for the 100th anniversary of Pearl Harbor. I mean, hopefully I am.
I hope so, too.
Yeah.
I hope I am.
Wait a minute.
Not that far out.
Can we do the math on that? 'Cause I think I'm the one with the worst odds. When's the 100-year anniversary of Pearl Harbor? 41.
Yeah, it's
so we're
18
at
years away.
18 years?
Yeah.
Only
18?
Yeah, you got 18
Only
years
18?
left. I'm sure of it.
I'm going to be like 78 at the 100-year anniversary.
Well, we better get cracking. We got a lot of stuff to do, so we've only got 18 years.
I got to take care of my knees, man. I want to go back over there.
We got to get some of these kids cleaning up the beach, make sure that that's being taken care of, too.
I'll tell you what, we had a wonderful day today cleaning up the beach. So many people, so many good people, and it's down to the micro stuff. And people say all the time, like, why do your beach is so clean? It's really cool. But a lot of good things going on.
I see a significant difference between that beach and the other local beaches.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it's Oxnard, Ventura, Camarillo. I guess Camarillo doesn't have any beaches, but, wherever I go.
Today we had Real Guppies out there. And so Real Guppies have a ranger program now. And so the kids come out and they have to get community service hours. I had several people with their community service registry sheets doing hours for churches, for schools.
Nice.
It's just cool. So many different people come out. And then Surfrider and Coastal Keepers were out today. So it not only was Wainimi Beach cleanup happening, then there's Surfrider and Coastal Keepers. So between the three groups, there was probably 60 people.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah. And of course, Wainimi, and I'm proud of this, Wainimi Beach is the cleanest. And so we're all headed down to the lagoon area where all that stuff gets washed out from miles away and stuff, But yeah, it's pretty awesome.
The other city's beach that's not quite as kempt.
Yeah, the other border neighbor, So anyways, we're all working together. And that's what we want to try to do is like talk about borders. What are borders? And I say borders are a place that brings people together.
I agree with that. It's a good way to look at it.
Yeah. Not separating.
It's where people meet. Yeah.
It's where we come together and do good things together. And so come on, neighbor.
How does somebody get together and join you for your beach cleanup?
All you got to do is come down to parking lot B at Wainimi Beach, the left side of the pier. We meet at the Alaska 261 Memorial. All you got to do is show up. I get there at 7:30. We officially start at 8:30 to 10. And you come, grab a bucket. You don't even have to talk to me. And you could go walk and do your wellness thing. And it's really good. You get your steps in. You could have your father-son, father-daughter time, mother-daughter time.
I gotta say, you do that well because you set all the buckets out, and then you kind of chat with the people that like the regulars, I guess you would say, or people that might want to know what's going on. But it really is an easy thing to join, and if you want minimal contact with other people, it's a very easy thing to do.
Well, like I try to get things done, and today was like chatty catty day. It's funny you mentioned that because several people came that wanted to talk about this and that, and
you had bowl game tickets today, so you had to get out of there.
The rain, I had to go to Santa Paula. No, but it really is. It's something that people are really beginning to embrace around Ventura County is community service, stewardship. You could hear some background noise here.
I love it. That. No,
we are in the park. We're in between pickleballers, a playground, a basketball court, and some teenage lovers over there on the hill just enjoying each other.
This is community, man. This is a park that's being well used. Everybody feels safe. There's nothing that feels like, there's conflict. I grew up in a pretty rough neighborhood, so there would be parks and there would be people in it, but there was always aggression. And
I live really close to this park, and when you hear the noise, I guess you could say, the sound of families and kids and.
See, I thought you had a really big backyard for a long time.
Nope.
Now I just realized you just live really, really close.
Close to a park. And then Tommy Jr., I have to say, he's getting really tall. You're past the 6 foot mark now?
I'm like 5'7.5". I've probably grown to 5'8.5" by now.
Probably.
You look taller than me. Is he taller than me?
How tall are you?
5'10.5".
He's almost to me, and I'm 6'2".
Yeah. I know. We're going to have to get the tape, Tommy. I think you're growing.
Yeah.
And so tell me about your school experience. How's that going? You're a freshman, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And what school do you go to?
Santa Paula High School.
Santa Paula. I like Santa Paula. I love going to Santa Paula. Like today was really nice.
It's a great town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Main Street, the hills, the airport. But tell me about your grades. How are your grades?
My grades are great. There's not much else to say about.
He's enjoying the social aspects of high school.
Yeah?
Yeah. Like, honestly, I've been...
So you're meeting friends, getting...
Yeah.
What is it that has... What's got your interest that you weren't aware of before you went to high school? That's not a trick question.
You know what that answer is.
I think
smile.
Dude, that smile is as big as Camarillo, man. Take it easy. So girls, you're getting to know some nice girls.
Oh yeah. So far I've gotten at least 5 compliments on my eyes.
Okay,
nice.
All right. Yeah, you got nice eyes. Can't see them right now.
Yeah.
Good thing you're wearing sunglasses.
Vipers. But yeah. Also, I'd like to mention that And on September 24th, 1930, the La Janelle was launched. So that means on September 24th, 2030, I'm not 100% sure if I can do this, but I'm going to try to get the plans together to throw a party for La Janelle's.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
You know what? I know a lot
birthday?
Yeah, but that would be cool because there's a lot of surfers out there. What if we tried to organize a music thing out there?
That would be cool.
That would be super cool, huh?
Let's think about that.
That's all I was thinking about. I was thinking about getting maybe some sort of boat that we could take.
I'm just thinking a rock and roll band and a stage, barbecue.
That's a great little area to have a community thing too.
And you could call it the Celebrating La Janelle Hero Ship. Is that what we call it? The Hero Ship?
The Hero Ship, that's right.
Hero Ship.
He gets some anxieties about eating outside sometime, but I think he'd even eat outside for that one.
Yeah, that one.
We'll make sure we invite some of your classmates.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Get the Santa Paula people out to the beach area and that's another thing, when I go to Santa Paula, like I went today and a couple weeks ago, and I spent some time on Main Street, and I was like, such a cool place.
Yeah.
And so that's what we want too. We want people to come here and go, what? There's here, we're going to show it to you. And then we take them out and we show it to them. And then they hopefully are going to, when their cousin comes from Arkansas, like, hey, you want to go see a ship? I can tell you all about it.
I should go to the oil museum and talk about putting in a La Janelle display in there too, because we have enough to do it. Because they've got a kind of a smaller one, because they've got that oil museum and they run different. Their room's really kind of a smaller room, but it's great. Did you go to the oil museum?
I haven't been there yet, but I heard about it.
Yeah,
Speaking about oil, don't you want to? We need to reach out and get you out there on the platforms to do some risk management wellness comedy. Maybe that's what you could call it.
The more I've thought about it, the more I really do want to do that.
And every time I talk to those engineering people I told you about that do a lot of work out there on the rigs, they think it's a great idea because it is one of the things they have to boredom, the monotony of being offshore, working 12-hour shifts.
And they're usually out there for, am I right, 8 days at a time?
They used to do 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, but I think now the more conventional wisdom is 1 week on, 1 week off.
So what if I'm popping in on Wednesday and the kids want to get somebody's kids want to give me a card to bring to them or something? What I mean? That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It would be fun to kind of be bridge the gap, but also bring some every once in a while I bring one of my funny comedy friends along to do a special show, and I think it would be so cool to do that.
No, we're going to work on that. And then there's this one little hiccup that I don't know if I told you about this, but there's 2 ways to get out there. One way, super easy, helicopter.
Okay.
Unless there's fog.
Yeah.
Okay, the other way is a boat.
I'm fine with either one of those.
The boat could be pretty rough, and then when the boat gets to the destination, you have to swing off the boat onto the platform.
I
on a rope. You got to swing like Tarzan.
But you're there's a lanyard that you actually get.
Yeah, they got big knots in it, but guys have to hold their tools. And,
I'm not holding no tools. I'm not bringing no sound system out there. Could you see me?
Yeah.
Could you see me with my
crazy
$2,000 Bose system just hanging on?
And then you drop it in the ocean and see you later.
It's the fishes now.
Well, I don't know if you saw, but me and the kids did a little island wildlife cruise about 2 or 3 weeks ago, where we went out there and we passed.
Oh, that's right. You told me.
Yeah, that's what fired me up because I think I sent you a text. Yeah, man, I got to make this happen because I just feel like
it's pretty crazy when you go when you're close enough and there's no fog and it's just you look at it. It's wild.
Yeah, it looks like post-apocalyptic almost. It looks like something you'd see in a movie. Where they're building these stations out and ready to fight the aliens or whatever.
Right, and the thing that you don't see is the undercarriage under the water. So check it out sometime, Tommy Jr. Look at the engineering behind putting a oil platform in the ocean. Because I remember when I was a little kid and they were setting up one of them, they would drag big old things and sink them, but the bottom of the rig is probably 1,000 feet across.
Right.
And then it goes up to a point.
Oh, okay.
You see above the ocean.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because you never see one fall over. At least I haven't.
No.
Tip over, I should say.
I know they'll start to list a little bit, and that's when but it's not very often, right?
Yeah, I don't know, but it's a deep dive for the brainiac kid over here.
I've never seen one on U.S. Or off of the U.S. I should say, but we've seen videos where they've showed the oil rigs that were compromised and stuff, right?
Oh yeah, I've seen. I heard about
the North
oil,
Sea, I think.
There was an oil tanker that collapsed. I don't think it was too long ago.
Oh yeah,
2012, 2013.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I think it was due to a storm, like a hurricane. It's interesting. There's been a lot of hurricanes in the past, like 10, 20 years.
I think hurricanes have always been around. I mean, like volcanoes too, you know?
Yeah.
I was watching this thing the other night, and I'm like, oh yeah, the super volcano at Yosemite, if it goes, they're talking, like, when's it going to go? But, the Mount St. Helens, that's another one.
Mount St. Helens affected me when I was a kid. We went to, we were in Seattle, and IMAX was really new back then. It was really, really little. And my parents took me to an IMAX of Mount St. Helens. So I'm this little kid.
Yeah.
Like,
crazy.
I'm watching the mountain explode. I'm like, I don't want to ever see a mountain again.
No.
I was scared of mountains.
Before it exploded, it had a big landslide, too.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's crazy. I've been there, too, by the way. When my mom lived in Washington, we drove up to the Mount St. Helens Observatory. I think
Oh, yeah. I've been to that one. I thought you meant you went to the mountain. I'm like, what are you doing over there?
That was at the mountain. I was right at the base of the mountain.
See, most of my comedy chops were all cut. Like my road dog stuff was all Northwest. So
Yeah.
I've made the drive from Sacramento to Seattle no less than 30 times.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
a lot.
Wow.
At least that. And that's a very conservative estimate.
Yeah. So December 7th is coming up. Today's the 2nd, and we want people to remember the sacrifices of families and dads and brothers.
Yeah, we forget about the families. We know that we lose our servicemen, but it leaves. It's not just their life loss. It leaves such a hole in the families.
Yeah.
And it changes. It changes people forever. Do we need to pause?
No, I'm just gonna send a message.
Yeah, we've got a phone line here in the park.
Give us a call. 805-207.
But I agree, though. I think that as time's gone on, we've gotten further and further away from people appreciating, what the amount of loss that we had that day and how many lives were affected that day. It's just typical with time. Everything kind of, there's been newer tragedies, so people kind of forget. But I think this was one that is so important, and so it just really did change the world. And it's like with any tragedy, what we have to do is look at the helpers and the heroes. There were so many heroic efforts that day that came out of that, and there were so many, excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you.
I wonder where Bahama Star was when Pearl Harbor got bombed on.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she was in the fitting room.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Because they were getting it ready. You're right.
Yeah,
they knew that it was. They were pretty sure that we were going to be a part of that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. The thing was the surprise, because they didn't think that they're going to have a surprise attack like that.
But they knew that they're going to have to. That ship was going to be needed at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, it was used quite a bit too. It was used for transferring the troops to and from the continental United States all the way out there to Normandy, and then they had it fitted to be a hospital. And as we learned, it served all throughout the war, so it was in service for quite a while. And I want to look more into it, but we had a high-ranking officer that went missing off of the Borinquin at one point.
Wow.
And I want to find out more. There was a press release that I thought about getting for the museum. Still might at some point, but I would like to know the story more. I've just had kind of a hard time finding more on the story. So
yeah, well, we'll just have to keep investing time, effort.
Well, I think as we get closer to the museum, folks, the museums have archives that the general public doesn't necessarily have the access to. So hopefully we can help mine that information for them and really put this stuff to the forefront. Because just with the La Janelle, I haven't talked to anybody about it that wasn't fascinated by the whole thing.
No, it's like what? Are you serious?
Yeah.
And again, it all started with like, yeah, you should go check it out. And learned all this wonderful stuff that we're going to be.
It all started with the Titanic and the movie.
You watched the Titanic for the first time and you got interested, Tommy?
No.
No?
Yeah.
He watched the movie later and I warned him. What were your thoughts on the movie? Without your dad's influence, what were your thoughts on the movie?
I mean, they did a good job making the ship look lifelike. They did a good job. Yeah.
I think so. Because it was digitally produced.
Yeah. But they made some huge models too.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure that they did make a full scale or nearly full scale Titanic for that movie.
What's your favorite statistic? What was how much the real Titanic cost versus what the movie cost?
Yeah, it costs like twice as much as the real
to
Titanic.
make the movie.
Yeah. Well,
that's hilarious.
Well, I think if they needed to use cameras on the Titanic, then it would cost more. So that's basically the Titanic plus cameras, which would in a normal cost more.
Yeah, and inflation too.
Yeah.
The cost of goods going up.
And then James Cameron had a fascination with the Titanic, similar to Tommy's, getting the submersive going down and getting close to it and all of that stuff. And, just crazy, man. It's crazy how something like that can just take on. I think it's the wonder of the seas. I think the sea being so vast and so little that we know about it. And then every once in a while, it just takes one up.
Yeah, and just back to that piece of metal on that Silver Strand Beach. We didn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
All we knew was the name. Now we know. Now we know the stories, the great stories, the heroic stories, the hero ship.
And our goal as Port and stuff is to make sure that name is remembered and that people know the story.
That's right. So there's a lot more to Port and stuff. It wants to be important stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Important stuff.
See?
Right?
Yeah. And I remember at high school, almost all my friends know about La Janelle now.
Oh, that's
nice.
great.
Yeah.
We need to do like a Santa Paula High School field trip to La Janelle.
Yep.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Well, I told them too. Make sure you tell all your teachers about that display you're putting together because that's extra credit.
Extra credit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should invite us out. We'll come out and do I don't know.
That would be cool. Yeah.
I'd also like to mention that the Edmund Fitzgerald on November 10th, 1975 sank. So soon we're coming up on 2025, which will be the 50th anniversary. So I'm planning on designing shirts that say "Remember the Fitz" for
That's
that.
Nice.
For that.
Now 2025 we'll all be around for, hopefully.
And there's a song. The Edmund Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
And Gordon Lightfoot also did another song.
He sure did.
And what was that one relevant to?
That was the Ballad of the Yarmouth Castle.
Yep.
Even though it was about the Yarmouth Castle ship fire, it did mention the Bahama Stars' heroic efforts in saving.
Did you hear that, folks? The Bahama Stars, La Janelle is everywhere.
Yeah.
It was the hero of his song.
That's right, because we listened to the song before, and he talks about how the Bahama Star came over to rescue people, and the captain abandoned ship.
Yeah. The captain of
the burning ship.
Castle.
Yeah, the Artemis Castle was burning, and he took off.
Yep. Yeah, and the captain of what was the other? There was another.
There was another ship, the Finpulp, which, by the way, the Finpulp was also heroic.
That's right.
They were in front of the castle, but they turned around just to save them.
Nice.
So they
and they were they a fishing or a shipping vessel, right?
Yeah, they were a small oil tanker, I believe. They saved like 60, 70 passengers, so they had a big hand in it too.
And our Bahama Stars saved like over 100, right?
Yeah, like 400.
400.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow, that's big time.
Yeah, we got to sit down and watch the documentary. Maybe we'll simulcast that. Maybe we'll watch the documentary and talk about it while we're doing it. Because that when they talk about, because they have a lot of the survivors from the Yarmouth Castle disaster, and they talk about as the Bahama Star is rolling in, that Captain Carl Brown is like, "This is your captain. I'm going to save as many of you as I can." And they said it was like an angel voice coming down, and they had the bright lights from the star and all of the all of a sudden they feel like, oh, it's possible that we could survive this thing.
Yeah.
Because imagine being out in the middle of the ocean. You can't see the boats that are within like a mile away. You're out there in the middle of the ocean, and there's this giant fire, and it's the boat was made out of wood, so the fire is getting bigger, faster. Yep. It came out of nowhere. Yep. Because the captain, that was another thing that I don't think we discussed. The captain neglected to tell the people that the ship was on fire.
Oh, that's a problem.
He decided that everyone should fend for themselves as he left and attempted to get on the fin pole.
Yeah.
And
that again, going back to, that's why we need to tell this story and get people interested in Silver Strand Beach and La Janelle, because it's just so cool to know what that piece of metal has been through and been to.
Yeah, it's like all those staterooms. You open a door and there's another story. There's so many different things. It's such a great thing.
Yeah, and let me say this right now: the Yarmouth escaping the Yarmouth Castle would not have been easy at all, because the way. Apparently, they said it'd be a good idea to paint over the lines that lower the lifeboats and paint over some of the
So they got stuck.
Yeah, they were stuck. They were...
Maddie's in a tree, by the way. I could see her, yeah.
Okay, I was trying to figure out
she's getting pretty high up there, but...
Which one is she in? This
right
one?
Behind the... straight there.
Yeah, she climbs really high.
Yeah, I think she's in the canopy, hanging out with...
Yeah,
she's squirrels or something.
Yeah, she's half monkey. She really does. She goes and goes. After a hockey game, I don't know if you. I mean, I know you've gone to Tommy's hockey games. You talked to him afterwards. Did you see how exhausted he was?
Yeah.
Could you imagine him coming home and climbing a tree afterwards? No, he was not insane like this one is. She goes out there, had the best football game she's had.
Oh, that's right. She
all
played
year,
today.
And she's out here climbing trees.
Yeah, and we're out here in Miranda Park.
Yeah,
enjoying the afternoon.
It's a great park. Everybody's happy.
So I can say this because I have a little secret that's going on. So I'm gonna have to wrap this up here pretty quickly, because we have 6 kids in my family, and all 6 kids are rendezvousing at my house tonight to surprise my mom. She has no idea.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, and
you should have told me it was a surprise. I'm glad I didn't say anything. I wish I'd have known ahead of time.
Her birthday's on Monday, the 4th.
Oh, yay!
And so we're gearing up to have all 6 of us together with my mom, and of course we have my dad. We have his ashes, and we're all going to be together, so it's going to be fun. So that's what we're gearing up for.
I'm so happy for you. That's so exciting. Well, I hope you text me on Monday. I'll send her a video message if I.
I'm going to do a message on KVTA to get her a happy birthday wish out there.
Oh, are you going in on Monday?
No, just going to do the.
You can call
the
in.
Message.
Oh, cool. Nice.
Yeah, but so love your families, guys out there. Honor your mom and dad, and look at, here she comes. She's coming down safely. She made it. Okay.
Yeah, that was her thing, and she does gymnastics. And after gymnastics, she'll do an hour and a half of gymnastics, and then she'll beg her mom to climb the tree afterwards.
Wow.
Or me, whoever's bringing her home. Usually her mom.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you so much for listening to Important Stuff. Thanks for taking the time.
I think it's awesome that we're out here in the park. Maybe next time we could do it on the beach, huh?
Thanks for taking the trip to go see Maddie play football in Santa Paula. And you've made the trip all the way to Santa Clarita to watch this guy play ice hockey. So I really do appreciate it. And thanks for opening up your beautiful city to us. Come out and do some podcasting.
Yeah, let's keep riding the Important Stuff. Let's keep bringing important stuff to the public through our podcast.
And let's keep these beaches clean one last time for
clean it up. Don't litter. Every little bit matters, so pick it up.
That's right. Thanks for listening to Important Stuff.
Everyone, also, one more thing. Anyone who says, who would go out and clean up beaches? That's not my job. Guess what? You might be part of the litter. If you're, the least you could do is pick up your trash and throw them away.
Yeah. Be a part of the solution, not the problem.
That's right. What does Daddy always say? Say that They offer me free parking. The least I can do is pick up a little trash while I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm not paying for parking. That's the way I can pay for it,
Yeah.
right?
All right.
Thanks for listening to Important Stuff. Be sure to like, subscribe, and most importantly, please tell your friends. And if
share it.
Yeah, and send us a message if you want to. You can contact us on our social medias, and we're going to get better about posting more episodes as our schedules start to make a little more sense.
That's cool. Thank you.
Thanks for listening.